This episode is sponsored by the Slang Self-Doubt Prayer Journal. Over the past 4 years, I have had the opportunity to help over 30 women identify, accept, and take action in the parts of their lives where they feel stuck. My heart's desire is to do that with every woman I come in contact with, but the truth is that's not realistic. So instead, I created a prayer journal that goes through that same journey. The Slang Self-Doubt Prayer Journal is designed for you to dig deep and answer questions that will pull out where you are stuck on your journey. The Slang Self-Doubt Prayer Journal consists of 6 sections of journal prompts and areas for reflections for when you want to dig a little deeper and just take your thoughts to another level. Whether it takes you 6 weeks or 6 months to complete, I promise you will not regret it. Head on over to my website at www.feliciawallace.com and select the books tab to make your purchase. If you are ready to find your fears and slay them, go to www.feliciawallace.com, select books, and get your copy today. You're listening to the Slang Self-Doubt Podcast with Coach Felicia, where we empower Black women to overcome their doubts, fears, and insecurities in order to give birth to their God-given purpose. Join me and sometimes some of my friends on our journey as we remind you that you are not alone. I'm Felicia Wallace, and together we will find our fears and slay them. Hey Slayers, welcome back to another episode of Slang Self-Doubt Podcast. I am here with Antonia Boakye from MomSpace& Co. Hey Antonia, how are you?
I'm well. How are you?
I am doing great. Thank you so much for joining us and having this conversation. We were talking offline and you were like, thank you for sharing your space. And I was just like, girl, if you only knew, I'm over here like, I hope these people say yes. I hope they say yes. So I'm always grateful when people are willing to come on the show, share their story, give us a glimpse into, their journey, and then also being able to highlight what it is that you do, because you see stuff on social media and you be like, you think until I get to do what I do, and then like go research and be like, oh, I didn't even know it was like all of this, right? So you introduce yourself to the people and tell them how you got started.
Wow, I feel like that's always one of the questions that kind of get me like stuck. Like, what? You want me to do what? Talk about myself?
Right.
I guess a little about me. My name's Antonia. Let's see. I am a hairstylist by trade, I guess.
Wow.
I've been a hairstylist for about, I think, 11 years now. And also a cosmetology instructor. But after having my little one, I became a stay-at-home mom.
Okay.
And as well as on top of that, I'm also the founder of MomSpace&Co., which is a nonprofit organization meeting moms where they are through motherhood. I mean, in motherhood through community and conversations.
Okay.
So yeah, that's just a little bit. I feel like
yeah. Yeah, no, but I love it. So, okay, so I heard the shift, right? You started off doing hair and being an instructor, and then you had a little one, right? And so did the nonprofit started because of her, or just kind of in that season? So how did that shift happen?
How did it all come about?
Yeah, how did it all come together?
So I started MomSpace&Co. actually back in like 2017. She was nowhere thought of.
Right.
Right. I actually only had my 11-year-old, who is now 11, and my 14-year-old. It started after them. I was actually going through another transition, which was a divorce from their dad.
Okay.
And during that time, I needed a space to, just talk and meet and connect with other women. And that's kind of where it all kind of like transpired into a nonprofit, because it really started off as just, hey, let's meet up, let's have a conversation, and let's record it. And it started off as just a podcast. So from there,
hold on, pause. So we gonna talk and then we gonna record it. Like, you just was like, I need an outlet and find some people so that we can have a conversation and record the conversation. I love it. Well, you listen, I love it.
And I was just kind of like, you know what? You don't have to say your name. We can come up with aliases. We'll just keep it private. But I want other people to kind of hear this conversation, because we're not the only ones. We feel like we are, but then the minute we start opening up and sharing our story, we're like, yo, you too? Yes. Oh my gosh. And then that just connects us in a completely different and bigger way.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I totally agree. And I love the fact that you were able to find community within that, right? Because lots of times when we're going through anything, transitions, our own struggles, we think that we're by ourselves. I always share that starting this podcast, I was just like, oh my gosh, I don't know. Like people gonna want me, I don't want to be a negative Nancy, this, all that. And it was like so many people were like, me too. And I'm like, well, I done spent 30 years by myself struggling. Like, where was y'all at? You know, but you don't find your people till you open your mouth, right? And until you actually say, like, this is what I'm struggling with, and then people say, okay, yeah, I'm me too. And like how do we do this together, right? Okay, so within the transition, within, working, then being a stay-at-home mom, then launching this like full nonprofit, I am sure, because self-doubt shows up everywhere. Self-doubt came in some kind of way, sneakily, in some form or fashion. How has self-doubt showed up in your journey?
Oh my gosh, everywhere, any moment that it can, at each transition of my life. Because it's like, oh my gosh, who am I to try to bring people together? What if nobody comes? What if nobody wants to talk about it? What if the conversation like really flips some tables or shakes some tables and people get really offended? Like it started that way in a lot. And then when it kind of grew from just a podcast to now it's a community of moms, and even, the people who supported moms, to now come together to have these conversations, it almost was like, who am I? Like, I know nothing about running an organization.
Yeah.
How am I supposed to learn? Who's going to help me? What if it doesn't make the impact that I really want it to make? And I mean, it was a lot that goes on in your mind when I think you're either starting something new, trying to do something new, and from scratch, honestly.
Yeah. No, yeah. And when I think that when you you're trying to make, well, even if when you notice you're making an impact, I don't know if necessarily for most people that they go into it making an impact unless it, like they know that they're starting something intentionally, right? But when you happen to just start doing something that is healing for you, or it's for me, the Lord told me to, and so I just had to. And so it was just kind of like, it was a calling. Like, I'm like, okay, but I don't know where this is going. It's like, you're always kind of like, no, this is working. And people are actually like catching on and they want more. And you like, where is it coming from?
Exactly. And where is this more going to come from? Like, are you going to throw me the ideas, Lord? Like, what's going to happen? Are you going to give me the confidence? What's going to happen? But I think too, like a lot of growing, I guess, through the doubt was, I'm gonna, like, social media. I would say being able to connect with the community that way and be transparent back then was very helpful to build that community, to have other people join in on the conversations, and kind of made the transition from just podcast to community a lot smoother, not easier, but smoother.
Yeah. Sure. No, and that's good. And I think that, well, over the years, we've recognized how important community is, how important your tribe is, having people walk through these journeys with you, because they have, like you said, like self-doubt. I always say that, like, self-doubt doesn't necessarily go away. You can either just better handle it, but as you do different things in your life, as different seasons come up, even with the age range of your kids, right? Like, where you started is not where it ends. And every phase of their life, you are like, what? Like, somebody gave me somebody to take care of, like, responsible. Like, I'm in that teenage age year where it's like, they want to go places without me. And I'm like, who all gonna be there? And they like, what do it matter? I'm like, because it does, but they're having to remind myself, like, girl, you went to the movies at Greenbelt Mall and, your mother dropped you home.
But I also do think, like, us back, I'm pretty sure we're the same age, but us back then is a little different from now.
We are not the same. It
than
did.
it was back then, you know? So it's, and then, I'll leave it at that. But
Yeah, no,
it's
it definitely is different. It's definitely not the same. I always tell them, I'll be like, these ain't the same teenage years. But at the same time, like what I thought I had a handle on from, infancy to toddler to now that I just get into it, then I'm just like, actually, I know nothing. Like, I don't know anything about this next season. And you like you said, that doubt just kind of continues to go with you. What are some practical tools that you use in growing this business, growing this nonprofit, building the community in your mom journey? Like, what are some practical tools that you use if and when self-doubt shows up?
I would say learning to be more open to conversation. Sounds crazy, right?
Mm-hmm.
Even though, I'm having these conversations with other people, allowing myself to open up to someone else about the way I'm feeling versus just kind of trying to handle it on my own. Regardless of, if they give you a moment to vent or a moment to just like get it off your chest to try to help you make it make sense. Or just even to give me some, well, here's what you could do, some tips or advice.
Yeah.
But that was, I think, one of the main things that really helped me. And then too, just tapping into to the people around me that were either doing I don't want to say, doing the same thing as far as like building something that they were passionate about. And just surrounding myself with good people.
Yeah. It definitely helps. I am an advocate of Jesus and therapy, and I also know that sometimes the people around you don't have the capacity to be able to handle the things that you need to be able to share. So, my husband always is like, "Oh, you don't have to worry about talking. You gonna find somebody." But I think that a lot of what we struggle with, it is easier to handle when you get it out, right? Because some of it is made up stuff. Some of it is stuff that isn't true, that we're just telling ourselves, oh, we're feeding ourselves the other things that people believe about themselves, and it has nothing to do with us, right? And so I think being able to have those conversations is important. And in this space of motherhood, right, we also have to pass that on to our children, because they will also pick up certain things. And so I know for me, my kids are always like, I don't like when we use this word, but I'm like, you need to learn how to advocate for yourself. You need to open your mouth and say the things that you need. If you ain't feeling it today, like, cool. Adults don't be wanting to go to work. Like, so I need a good reason why you don't want to go though. But you get, like it's certain things that we have to allow them to kind of process their feelings and all those other things. So in this journey, right, whether it's through your motherhood journey, through building the nonprofit, the community, the podcast, all of that stuff, what have you learned about yourself that you didn't know before?
That I don't quit. I'm very persistent.
That's good.
Yeah. I would say I would rather hear no in so many different ways, than to give up, right? So during one of my journeys or during one of my transitions, I was
It is a child. Listen, y'all, it's okay. No child is hurt in the process of this podcast. Okay, this is like in real life. This is real life for us. Okay, like you're going to have. I think that. So this is like a pause before you answer that question. But I think this is like the reality of what we go through, right? Like it's just it is what it is. Like even when she told me ahead of time, like, and I was like, child, bring the baby in. Like, I mean, at the end of the day, we're gonna continue to do what we need to do because that's what has to happen, right? So yes, what have you learned about yourself that you didn't know before?
Yes, so that, like I said, I would rather hear no in so many different ways than actually to give up, right?
Yeah.
During my time, as far as like growing the organization and things like that, I actually started off and it was called Mommy Matters, and I can't remember what year I found out, maybe 2018, 2019. I found out that someone had literally just trademarked the name. So at that, you know, once it's trademarked, you don't want to receive any cease and desist letters. So it's just like, okay, let me stop. Let me like take a break. Maybe this is God trying to give me like, hey, pause. You ask for, you know, a new structure. You asked for something different to kind of level it up. Maybe this is the pause that I need to take. So I took the time to just kind of like, you know, figure it out and really get it in order. Because at that time I really just had, you know, the LLC in Maryland, right? So instead of giving up, I saw a way to kind of seize the moment, to take I guess a break, to revamp and really structure it out legally, and then to, you know, not internally, legally, but then also to how to really run the organization.
Yeah.
So then I changed the name to MomSpace&Co. to kind of incorporate that it's a mom space, as well as the company that we keep. They're also included in the things that we do. So it's not to just also, you know, just strictly moms, but it could be others as well. So
yeah, I love it. Like it definitely. And look, I saw that trademarking thing is, when it happens, I've heard so many stories, and I've shared on here a few times, and with some other people, I always be like, let me tell you something, you better search your name, and before you even get started, buy that domain. Go ahead, like, do the work. Even when I got Slaying Self-Doubt trademark, I was like, you know, it's kind of like the last thing on my list, like, Lord, if you really want me to do this, you know, type situation. But a friend of mine was at a conference somewhere, and she was like, are you speaking this weekend? And I was just like, no. She was like, I heard somebody saying something, Slaying Self-Doubt something. I said, now, wait a minute. And I was just like, oh, nah, bro. What's not about to happen is someone, Lord, please don't give this away. I'm not playing.
Right.
You got it. Right. At that point, I was like, you got it. Let me go. And immediately I went and was like, let me get connected with somebody. Let me do it the right way. And I was like, when it happens, I'm going to take you seriously. Because if you see this phrase, you need to know it's me. This is the face you're seeing on the other side of it. But yeah, you have to take those things seriously, because if we don't, like, we're not the only people to have these ideas. We're not the only people going through the things that we're going through, right? And so we got to do our part to take it more seriously. So we've talked about your journey. Let's talk about MomSpace&Co. Because like I said, when I do this, like, generally I kind of know, like I said, you see people on social media, you see certain things like, oh, hey, you know, this, that, and the third. But then I was like, oh no, this is way more inclusive than what I thought. Like, I was like, oh, they out here doing some things. So go ahead, you tell us, what is MomSpace&Co. What do y'all do? Who are y'all here to serve? All of those things.
Yes, man. So that's the part that it still trips me up, right? We're here to serve moms. And I don't want to say that there's like a target audience, but moms in general. And to just honestly meet you where you are, to just give you that space to be you, have people that you could come together with, whether it's like, you know, I really need to learn how to, you know, make time for myself and go out and meet new people. We'll meet you there. You are looking for, you know, to focus more on your health and wellness. We'll meet you there. So it's just meeting you where you are. We're not, if you feel compelled to engage with us, hang out with us, meet us at our events, whatever you choose, come. You know, like, there's no pressure at all. What we did tap into during and after the pandemic was really serving our community. We started off by partnering with a local organization here in Montgomery County, where we would go and during the pandemic, we had to just drop off their meals. So a group of moms will come together, we will prepare meals, or we'll come together and order out for them, depending on what they wanted to eat. So we pretty much did meal deliveries for a women's shelter in Montgomery County. And then we also volunteered our time at a it's like a clothing center
Mm-hmm.
where low income families were able to go shop because they're not really paying for it. They just go, and if they could fill a bag, it's theirs to go.
Nice.
So we volunteered our time there to kind of sort out the donations, because during the pandemic they received so many donations. It was like stacked to the ceiling.
I'm sure.
And we went in there and like cleared it out. We were so proud of ourselves, and got it hung up on the rack so that, you know, they could come shop. And then another thing that we did was we helped 4 moms 2022 pay for any past due balances on their rent due to COVID, whether it be job loss, you know, childcare, you know, things like that, that avoided them from going to work or even just catching COVID. So that helped a lot. It was crazy. You know, we went through it was an application process, and we came together and sat down and really like comb through the applications to make sure that we were really helping the moms, that I don't want to say that the moms who really needed it or deserved it, because everybody
does, right? Yeah.
But you know, just being very intentional about who we did. So
that is awesome. Like I that is so dope. Everything that y'all did and that you are doing, the rent pay initiative, that's what I saw. And I was like, oh, I didn't even know, you know, if you're not connected with people and organizations, you don't know what they do and how they serve the community. But it definitely was, when I saw it, I was like, that is so dope, because there's so many people still out here struggling, right? And to be able to do that, you don't know how that blesses people to be able to be a blessing, right? And to be able to just say, hey, listen, I like the relief that takes off your shoulders. And as a parent, you know, I'm not going to just say moms, even though we're talking about moms, but as a parent, that is a stressful thing, because you know that someone else is dependent on you, right? And so to be able to do that alleviates that. And then, like I say, serving the community is we got to get back to that. Like as a whole, I really do believe that, because it's something lost in the service part, right? Like people are so, you know, socially connected, but like personally, like interpersonally, and being able to see, like, it's still something that I really do believe we need to do more of. I was like, I don't even know. I think my youngest son, he's in the 7th grade, and I was just like, y'all don't have community service before this?
They do the SSL hours. I was looking at that the other day. I'm like,
I said, did this just happen? Like, y'all ain't been had to do this? Like, I'm like, I thought, you know, so, but it's these things that like, it's like when I saw it, I was like, no, this is important. Like, you have to, because you have to be able to see how fortunate your life is, or how grateful things are, or even just to give back. Like, it's you know, I know it's cliche when people say it's a blessing to be a blessing, but it really is, right? Because if you know the other side of it, you don't want to go back. You don't want that space where, you know, that uncomfortability, anxiety, all that stuff. You don't want that in that. You don't want it. Period. We gonna leave it right there, right? And so when it comes to MomSpace and Co, how do people get connected with you? Whether if let me go back, because I did love that you said that you're meeting people where they are, right? Because, you know, there's lots of organizations or places or stuff that they're looking for a specific type of something, right? And so, like you're saying, no matter where you are in your journey, like, we gonna meet you where you don't have to meet us. We gonna meet you where you are and try to be able to accommodate that. So, like, how can people get connected with your organization so that they're able to find the resources and the things that they need? And then I have a second question after you answer that.
So of course we're on social media, but it's very like day by case by happening that we post. We do our best. You know, we're all moms, we're all busy. Shout out to the team, Nicole, Lynn, Trees, Star, and Trill, and Kiana. It's a lot of us, but we're all like, I love how we're all multifaceted. So we're all seeing seeing the mission, seeing the vision, but as well as working on, you know, other things that we want to do ourselves as women, right? So we're on social media. We have a website, momspaceco.com. We also have a Slack channel where you can hop in. Again, it's another place where you can connect with us. If you want to hop in the conversation, start the conversation, we definitely encourage you to. But that's definitely a place where we share most of our upcoming events. We have conversations where you can connect with us and use each other. If you're looking for someone, we always tap into our network and, you know, give you that resource. No membership. Come as you are.
Okay, see, that was to be of my next question. So the next question was whether that there was a membership fee, and then the second question is that do you only serve? I know you're in, you know, in Maryland. Do you only serve Maryland, or is it certain parts of? Is it just Montgomery County? Is it DC, Virginia? You know.
I would say no, but I would say a lot of our moms are in Maryland. We're in Montgomery County, Baltimore. Some moms are also in Virginia.
Okay.
Yeah, so we're like throughout.
Okay, good. So that's the whole DMV area, y'all. Y'all know we listen. That's where we at. So go ahead and get connected. There's one last part that I did want to ask. Okay, so like I said, I've done the research, but on your website, the Women in Business Directory, how does that connect with the organization? Is it to refer people to these places, or?
Yes.
I think I just answered my own question.
You did. Because we are all moms. As far as like the team goes, we're all, again, working on our own endeavors. I would say, yeah. We range from like pediatric nurses, chefs, educators, health and wellness coaches, mental, I don't know how to properly say it. It's a form of therapy, but it's not like, you know, counseling.
Oh, therapy. So like
yeah.
So a mental health specialist. We'll go
there you
with
go.
that.
I like that. Yeah. So we range from all of that. Either that's where we work, what we do, or what we're building on for ourselves. So I really felt it was really important to incorporate a business directory, because outside of being moms, we're also doing some amazing things, just as women. So I really wanted to highlight, share, and direct others to mom-owned businesses, whether you're in DC, Maryland, Virginia, Ohio, Florida, wherever you are. You know,
I love
someone
it.
can always tap in, find you, support you. And yeah.
Yes, I love it. This is like I say, I'm always, God knew what he was doing when he told me, this is what you about to do. You about to go reach out to these people and you're going to, and I was like, what? Who's going to talk to me?
I love when we're obedient to God. It just feels so much better.
It does. It absolutely does. Because I definitely was fighting him in the beginning 4 years ago. I was like, nah, this ain't gonna work, Slim. I'm not really sure how we gonna make this work. But to be able to get connected to so many different organizations like yours, and to see what you're doing in the community and what the intention behind it, like, I can tell that it's something that you truly are passionate about and something that you really want to do. And so I am grateful again that you said yes and that you wanted to share it here. And so for the Slayers, we know, so is it MomSpace & Co everywhere on, the question is, how can they connect with you? You had already said you got social media and website, but how can they connect with you if they want to get connected to the MomSpace & Co?
Yes, so definitely on social media. That's probably the fastest way. Even though we're not there posting, we're there seeing.
Yes.
Email is hello@momspaceco.com. What else do we have? Oh, if you want to listen to past episodes, we're actually on YouTube. You can watch some of our channels there.
Okay, then.
Or episodes there. We're also on Apple, Spotify, wherever you choose to stream your podcast, old episodes. You can get to know us and some amazing other dope women and moms as well.
I love it.
Yeah.
Yes, that is so awesome. So y'all already know I'll be asking these questions, but the links are going to be in the show notes. So y'all will already be able to just click and get connected. One last question, the Slack. Is that something that people they have to download an app or something? I think I swear I've heard of it.
It's an app. And then you can, so if you go to our website, it will say join Slack, and it will take you straight to it. Usually people are using their phones, but if you're on a laptop, you can still access the channel as well.
Okay.
But on your phone, it's an app. On a laptop or computer, desktop, it's a link, website link.
Cool. Well, thank you so much, Antonia, for joining us. And what's your daughter's name? Because she joined us too.
She's right here, Addison.
Thank you, Addison, for being here. And she did a great job once you brought her in that room. She just wanted to be right next to you. She ain't say not one word the whole time. Well, Antonia, thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for sharing your journey and sharing your organization with us. And y'all, Slayers, y'all need to get connected, especially if you in the DMV and you need to find community and be connected to somebody who's going to meet you where you are, because everybody wants to be seen, okay? And we want to feel seen and be heard. And so MomSpace and Co is the place for all of that, to be seen and heard.
Yes. And thank you so much again for sharing your platform with me, and also us. I'll speak for us as far as the organization goes. We're grateful. I don't know, I feel like this was a good refresher for me, because I think, I don't want to say a little peak of doubt was coming, but it more than likely was, right?
Listen.
So this was just as timely as, you being obedient to God. So I appreciate it.
Oh, you are so welcome.
Thank you. Yeah.
You are so welcome. Listen, we every now and again, we know, like I said, that doubt don't go away. And sometimes we just get that email that somebody see me, right? And somebody sees what I'm doing. Yeah, somebody sees what I'm doing. And listen, we're literally like, how'd you find me? Like what?
Yes.
what happened? What is going on? So no, listen, like I said, I'm obedient, and if it's in alignment with the Lord, we just keep the party going, and that is it. So thank you so much again to you and your organization. I wish y'all well. Slayers, until next time, see ya. Yeah. All right, y'all, that's all for this week. Thanks for listening, and don't forget to share, subscribe, rate, and review. Remember to head over to Facebook and Instagram and follow me at Slaying Self-Doubt. Oh, wait, don't forget, go to my YouTube channel and watch this episode, and remember to press the subscribe button. Until next week, see ya.